Hi there, I'm Katie Wagner. Welcome to Social Media Help Desk. This is the time every Tuesday when we sit down and chat about what's new in social media and what tips and tricks are working for us this week and what have we learned. So I'm here today with one of our web designers, Daniel.
Hello.
And our Director of Operations, Stephen.
Hello.
And we've got lots to talk about today, but the first thing is something I've been talking about with our clients a lot lately. Just yesterday we had one of these conversations, and that's that everybody is losing Twitter followers in Twitter. It's nothing to be worried about. We actually see it as a good thing, I think, because this means that the fans that are left, the followers that are left, are really those that are engaging in your brand. So those that you might be missing now weren't really engaging anyway. They were likely robots or fake accounts, and so yes, it's an ego boost or a drop.
Hit. Sure, right.
It's a hit to your ego, right?
Yeah.
You had 1 million and now you have 500,000. That's sad. Or if you're like us, you have 2,000 and But it doesn't really mean anything as far as your content. And one of the interesting things that we've seen is that even though the follower numbers have gone down, sometimes engagement and impressions has gone up this month, even with the change, because the people that are the real followers, the engaged followers, are now having a better chance to see your content and really engage with it. So kind of a blessing in disguise. But the reason this continues to be in the news is because now a lot of famous people have gotten hit with the Twitter purge, and famous people love Twitter, as you know, Daniel. A lot of celebrities use Twitter. And so they're complaining about it, and here are the actual numbers that people have lost on Twitter for your gossip pleasure. A few A-listers. Katy Perry lost 2.8 million Twitter followers in the purge. Justin Bieber lost 2.69 million.
The Biebs?
The Biebs, I know. He's a little less popular now, but only with robots.
Yeah.
Barack Obama lost 2.36 million. So he has a lot of Twitter followers, but he lost 2 million of them.
Yeah.
Rihanna lost 2.24 million. Taylor Swift, 2.33 million. Lady Gaga lost 2.5 million. And Ellen DeGeneres, love her, she lost 2 million. So if the Twitter purge has hit your account, don't worry, you are in good company. And my favorite part of this whole story is that Twitter itself lost followers. Oh. Guess how many followers Twitter lost?
I don't know. 3 or 4 million?
Okay, it's higher than that. What do you think?
I'll go with 6 million.
It's higher than that.
Oh, wow.
Twitter itself lost 7.75 million followers in their own purge. So
they're not discriminating. They're not picking and choosing, right? It's just everyone.
Across the board. That was 12% of their followers they lost. And I think, one of the important things is we got some pushback yesterday while we were having this conversation. Somebody said, well, why do I have so many robot followers then?
Yeah.
Well,
that's a good question.
You can't pick who follows you.
Yeah.
Twitter is one of those things where anybody can opt in to follow your accounts, and so maybe a lot of robots or fraudulent accounts did, and that wasn't your fault. So don't think that if you lost a bunch of fans, you've done anything wrong. This is just kind of how Twitter works, and you can't get around it. So you're in the same boat as the rest of us. We will all cry over spilled Twitter followers together, and then move on, because what else can you do?
Not much.
And keep putting out great content for the people that you do have.
That's right.
So speaking of putting out great content, one of the most important places that we found for businesses these days, or one of the fastest growing channels, is Instagram. People love Instagram.
They do.
Right? Yeah. A lot of people. We all love Instagram. Is that fair?
Of course, yes.
We're big Instagrammers.
I like it.
But Instagram is a weird channel because it's not right for every business.
Yeah, it's different.
Yeah. And so there are some things that if you want to be on Instagram, you need to know about whether this is a fit for your business. Because, sometimes it's easy to say, well, everybody should be on Facebook because Facebook's the biggest channel or it has the biggest audience, it's the most used. But that may not be true. There are different audiences, there are different types of content that go on different channels, and Instagram in particular lends itself to certain businesses more than others. So Daniel's going to talk to us about if you're considering your business being on Instagram, what kinds of things should you look at or should you consider?
Well, speaking of how many people are on Instagram, I just looked it up and there's about 1 billion followers. So it kind of seems like an automatic yes to make an Instagram account for your business, but that's not really the right answer. the first thing you want to do is basically look, who are your customers? Who are your clients? Are they on Instagram? You want to look at the demographic. Usually it's kind of a younger demographic that is on Instagram. So you just want to make sure that you have the right following to do it. Instagram is more image based. So you want to make sure you can provide good content. You don't want to be posting pictures that aren't going to look good on your Instagram account.
Okay, so let's break these down a little bit, because the first you're talking about is your customer base. Who is your audience? Who you're trying to attract, right? And you said Instagram is a little bit younger. That's true. Most of the people on Instagram are between the ages of 18 and 29, let's say. But one of the interesting things that happens over time is that social media channels mature. You know, you remember, maybe I'm the only one who remembers this, but remember when young people used to use Facebook? When that was like a college channel and all the kids use Facebook? And now college kids would tell you their moms are on Facebook. And it's a lot of people my age or older using Facebook. You know, the fastest growing demographics are in their 40s and 50s there. And so I find that as social media channels are out longer and get more popular with the mainstream, the demographic does shift upwards, right? There's a lot of social media users in their 40s, 30s, 40s, 50s. But currently, Instagram does tend to be a little bit still on the younger side. So you as a business need to ask yourself, right, is that your audience? Are those the people you want to talk to?
Yeah.
If you have an audience and your purchasers or your customers are 65 and up, maybe Instagram's not the best channel for you, right? Maybe we need to look at other marketing platforms there. And then the second thing I thought you said was really interesting, and that's what kind of content are you able to produce?
Yeah, because it is image-based, and you don't have a good image-based company, it's kind of hard to be posting on Instagram.
Yeah, like what are you going to take pictures of?
What are you going to take pictures of? And you don't want to have an Instagram account with, you know, not that good of photos, or basically you want to be consistent with the photos that you can post. So if you have a brand that you can kind of lightheartedly show off and brag to your clients and kind of let them know how fun you guys are and industry is, or products that you can show good images of, you can use that to post on Instagram. But if you don't have products that you could post like that, it's going to be hard finding content to show.
Yeah. So Instagram does really well in a few industries. What are those industries, Stephen?
Well, I think any product-based industry is really, really important. I also think, you know, service industries that are visual, like hairdressers are very popular, makeup artists, fitness obviously is a huge one.
Fitness is huge. Beauty of any kind.
Beauty,
fashion.
Yeah.
So things like that are really kind of typically the ones that you see that get the most followers and are the most visual, right? If you're a CPA or an attorney, going to be a little bit more difficult to come up with some pictures to put on Instagram, right?
Here's a picture of me preparing taxes again.
Right?
Yeah, that we say that the less sexy businesses sometimes have a little bit of trouble. But it's interesting because our jobs are mostly online, right? We're on computers or phones all day. How many times can you take a picture of somebody on a computer or a phone? And so we use our Instagram more like a culture tool for KWSM. We talk about things that are happening behind the scenes and team members having outings or engaged in their work or at client events. And we really look at it like sort of a behind the scenes look at what it's like to work here, which is different than our other social media channels. Because mostly on our Facebook and Twitter, we're putting out a lot of good information about social media,
good
tips, content, ways you can do it better, tips, sort of like this video that you're watching now about how we think it works best and how you can utilize that. But Instagram's got a different approach. And so, to Daniel's point, you have to have really good content put out. You have to have aesthetically pleasing content. You have to have visuals. But maybe there's a way to spin the portion of your business you're looking at to fit that kind of content. Maybe you're telling your story a little bit different on that because not all of your channels have to have the same story, because they all have different audiences, because they all have different purposes. Different content works better in certain channels. So think about like what aspects of your business could you be showing off on the different channels. And then I'm sorry, I got carried away, but there's one more thing you want us to look at on Instagram.
Oh, yeah. That is your competition. You can also check to see what your competition is doing and seeing if they have success on Instagram. Maybe you could have success on Instagram. But if you're not seeing, your competition on there, then it kind of shows that maybe that demographic isn't there.
Yeah, it feeds into the audience question, right?
Question,
If your competition's reaching the audience there, maybe you have a shot. But if nobody is really interacting, then who knows, right? All right, so yeah, the moral is not every channel is right for every business, but you need to do some research about how will your business play onto each channel. And Instagram's hot, but it's not right for everybody, and that's okay. So all you CPAs and lawyers out there, call us. We'll give you some other ideas for channels you can use besides Instagram. So Facebook and Instagram actually have come out with a new feature recently. Facebook and Instagram, of course, owned by the same company. Facebook owns Instagram. And so they've basically come out with a feature, and I'm not sure how I feel about this. You guys have to weigh in. They track the time you spend on each app. And so it will say at the end of the day, Katie, you spent this much time on Facebook and this much time on Instagram. And more than that, you spent this much time on your computer and this much time looking at Instagram on your phone or Facebook on your phone.
I don't know if I want to know that. Like, that's a lot of information. I might be spending too much time there.
Well, I certainly don't want them sending that information to anyone else.
Well,
right?
no, yeah,
right? It's one thing for me to know. I don't want any of you to know. But yeah, they're saying it's because you can set limits for how much time, how much screen time you want to spend each day. And when you start to approach that limit, they'll send you a notification. Now, it won't shut down your apps. It doesn't cut you off. It's not your mom. But it will send you a notification that says, hey, Daniel, you're getting close to your screen time limit. And then you, as a responsible adult, get to decide, am I getting off the screen or am I blowing through the limit?
I think that's a good idea. It helps with time management. Sometimes we'll get carried away. We get deep into the comments or looking at people's pictures and everything. So sometimes I think it's a good time management tool for me personally to know how much time I'm spending and maybe make it a goal to not spend so much time on there.
Yeah.
Would you use that? Would you set it up that way?
I think I would set it up, use it that way if I do start noticing I'm getting carried away. So it'd be interesting just from my own perspective to see how much time I am spending on it.
Yeah. No, I feel like I'd set a limit and at 9:05 it would be like, you've reached it. I'm like, what? There's 8 hours left.
I know. I have zero concept as to how much time I actually spend on social media every day because it's throughout the day and it's on my computer, it's on my phone. So I'd just be interested to know, okay, if I set this at 1 or 2 hours, like you said, how quickly would you actually get there?
I have a little insight into this since we live together. I think you're spending a lot more than you think you are.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So after the first week or two, I'd probably have a good concept of it. But then I don't know if I'd want to constantly be reminded. Because it's just I'm going to do it anyways.
So that's a good question though. What time limit if you had to set limits, what would you give yourself? When would your notification come up?
For me, I'd say 2 hours.
2 hours a day?
Yeah. By the end of the day, I'd want to be at less than 2 hours.
Okay.
Screen time.
Devil's advocate, and also as your boss, that's 2 hours of work time that you could be working, and yet you're on
No.
screens.
But I'm in between. Well, number one, we work in social media, so you have to be on it.
Yeah, you get away with it.
Number two, you're just on it in between. You're walking to things. You're at the grocery store. You're standing in line.
Okay.
I'm walking the dogs. There's lots of times when I might have social media in my hand or I'm looking at it. I'm not if I'm working, I'm working.
Yes.
So
it's an interesting question though. I would like to see people write in the comments below, how long do you think you've spent on social media?
Yeah.
Because I bet, now granted for us it's a little strange, right? Because we do this for a living, and so a lot of time when I'm on Instagram, it's research for a client. But I would say probably 2 to 3 hours a day I'm probably on there, right?
What would your limit be?
A lot of it outside of work time. Well, I don't like to be told that I'm wrong, so I would probably set it at 4 or 5 hours and never reach it and be like, I'm acing this, right? So that it never warns me.
What do you think, Daniel?
I think 2 hours is a good time.
2 hours?
Yeah.
Maybe we could set the limit on the weekend and see how much time on the weekend
But
we're
on the
doing.
weekends, I think I'm on there 6 hours.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I got nothing else to do. So, all right.
Yeah.
All right, a couple hours. Maybe we could find some guinea pigs back in the bullpen back here and see if they'll set it for us, and we'll do a little... I have an idea.
What's that?
You know how we do our monthly challenges with the team? We had we had Walktober where we have we're step counters, and we were trying to do 2-minute planks at 2:00 every day to see if we could hold 2-minute planks. Maybe we have a screen time a-thon.
All right.
Right? And we see which team can spend less screen time.
Yeah.
All right.
But then everyone's like going to be like, oh, I can't do my job.
Right. Days off for everyone.
Yeah.
All right,
I've reached my limit.
That plan may need some thought. You're right. We will rethink that plan. All right. Well, good. Okay, let's move on to more news here. There's a social media app called WhatsApp. You guys know this? I just like to say it. WhatsApp.
Yes.
You know WhatsApp?
I'm familiar.
I had drinks with a woman last night, another CEO that I know from business. She's a little bit older than me, about 60, and she was telling me all about WhatsApp. She uses it all the time, which surprises me, and she said that she just went on a trip to Europe, and WhatsApp allows you to call people and send photos to people for free.
Yeah.
So it's gaining popularity, this app, WhatsApp, and people tend to like it. But now Facebook is integrating with WhatsApp, and they're trying to monetize it for business. Because the thing people, Robin was telling me, the thing people like about WhatsApp is that it's free, right? But Facebook is turning it not free. So what they've, as they tend to do.
As they do,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
And so what they've done is they've added a shortcut button that allows you to immediately start a conversation with a business. So if you find a business on WhatsApp and you want to ask a question, or it's basic customer service, you can push the button and it allows you to go straight there. Okay? And then they've also integrated their ads. So display ads in Facebook can now link out directly to WhatsApp where you ask a question of the business. So instead of making your Facebook ads link to your website or your Facebook page or a landing page somewhere, now it can link to WhatsApp where people can send your business a message. Okay, now here's how they're monetizing it. If you as the business get one of these requests, questions, and you respond within 24 hours, that's free. If it takes you more than 24 hours, Facebook's charging you.
That's very smart.
Yes.
I mean, it's a good way for them to make money.
It is, because, do you think most businesses don't respond in 24 hours?
On most, no. I don't think that most do.
Because it raises a question for me, how seriously do businesses take customer service on social media?
Yeah, I think that the popular ones do, the large brands do.
But brands that are doing well on social.
Yeah, but that's, as for you talk about the number of businesses that are on there, most definitely not. Right.
It's funny because there are studies, there are stats that show that if a customer has a question, they'd rather reach out on social media than almost any other way. They don't want to write an email and wait for you to get back. They don't want to call and be on hold. They want to shoot a message to your Facebook page.
Yep.
And we see that with a lot of our clients.
Yeah,
people ask questions
absolutely.
or even if they have a good thing to say or if they have a complaint, a lot of times they'll reach out through social media.
Yep.
But one of the things that's really important for us is that we respond on our clients' behalf in a timely manner, within a couple hours, I would say at the most. But 24 hours seems like a long time. Do you think those businesses just aren't understanding that this is the first line of conversation with their customers?
Yeah, I think a lot of businesses don't, and they ignore their Facebook account, or they ignore their social media, or maybe they use some kind of syndication software like Hootsuite or something like that, and just schedule it to go out and don't check it. And so, yeah, I think that there are a lot of businesses, small and medium-sized businesses that don't do that, and it's unfortunate. I've certainly messaged businesses and not gotten responses ever.
Yeah, me too.
On the other hand, I've used that message feature to get in touch with, where you can't get in touch with customer service in one way or another. You can do it on their Facebook page, and they'll get back to you pretty quickly. And those are the businesses that are doing well and that are doing it right. So
it's actually a good way to get in touch with Facebook because they have really bad customer service.
Yeah.
But if you message them, it works better. That's interesting because I would like to believe, like you, that it's business owners that are wearing a lot of hats, or they're just busy, they're overwhelmed, and social is the last thing on their list because they have so much to do. I would like to not think that it's people who say, oh, that's not an important way to communicate with our customers, because I think this day and age, you really realize that it is, and that a lot of people do that.
Yeah.
Daniel, when's the last time you sent a message to a business through social media? Do you communicate that way?
No, not. There's not often times where I communicate with the business, but I do hear a lot of success stories with complaints because they will try to contact customer service. But when it's on the public and everyone can see that comment, they'll make sure to get back to you because they don't want other people seeing those complaints.
Yep.
So it is kind of more of an effective way to reach out to those companies if you have any issues. So.
Yeah, so that's commenting on the page itself. Sending messages is on the back end, so no one sees it, but it is a more direct way to reach out to a business or customer service. When's the last time you did that, Stephen? Who have you contacted that way?
I just did it about 2 weeks ago with MailChimp because I was having some issues with a campaign that we were running. It was on the weekend, and their customer service was closed till Monday. I contacted their Facebook page, and they got back to me within about 2 hours.
Nice.
Now, they didn't help me that much, but you know what?
That's
they got
a
back
different
to me,
story.
and,
Sorry, MailChimp.
and we figured out a different solution. But you know what? They got back to me.
But the responsiveness, I think, is the really
Absolutely.
important part.
Yep.
Because I'm like you. I've written messages to try to get help if I'm returning something or I have a customer service issue, and they never respond. And it's like, oh, all right.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's insanely frustrating in this day and age because I think we're trained to have this like instant gratification desire, you know, like anything you want, you can Google real fast and get the information. And when people don't respond to you as fast, or when businesses don't respond to you as fast, it's frustrating.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I agree.
All right. And so one of the things that business owners say to us often about social media is it's really challenging to come up with stuff to post every day. And I agree, even in our jobs, that's a hard thing, is to come up with enough ways to tell your story, enough good, engaging, valuable content to put out there day after day after day. Because if you're doing social well, you're posting every day or multiple times a day. And so lately we've been talking around here about what do you do to keep that flow of content coming if you're out of ideas, you know, what can you do?
Yeah.
Give us some ideas.
Well, you know, there's a good way to look at this, right, is to look at content that's been very successful in the past and to actually reuse that content in one form or another. And it's not to say to just keep reposting and reposting and reposting and do it frequently, but by looking at what's done well in the past and taking that and reformatting it and doing different things with it. And so this is something that can be really, really good, especially if you spend a lot of time say creating like a really nice video, right? Or you spend a lot of money or time having a really nice photo shoot, right? And let's say you take that piece of content or several pieces of content that you put together and you've posted all of those, right?
Right.
And maybe some of those did good, maybe some of those did bad, but you've already used that content. And maybe you're sitting at your computer and you're saying, I don't know what to post now. Well, you know, the old adage is, right? Everything old is new again, right?
Within reason.
Can
Sure,
be, right?
sure.
And so, you know, there are ways that you can do that. And now it's different for every platform.
Right.
Right?
I think that's
because, right, like Twitter, right? Let's start with Twitter, because Twitter is very fast, right? What do you always say the lifetime of a tweet is?
About a minute.
About a minute, right? If you don't see a tweet in the first minute that it's posted, you're not going to see it, right?
Because it's real time and there's
It's
a lot
real
more
time.
information going
It's
through
fast.
there.
It's going, right? And so if you have tweets that are going out, most likely the majority of your followers probably aren't even seeing them. And so Twitter is a great opportunity where you can take some posts and reuse them, right? Take some content that you've posted in the past that it has done well and recycle it through. Now, you don't want to do it, super frequently. You don't want to repost the same exact thing.
Right.
But taking that good piece of content, that video, that picture, maybe that article or blog post that you wrote, and reusing it, right?
Well, I think you said something important because posting the same blog post in 5 tweets, let's say, is fine. But you don't write the same thing about it every time.
Yeah.
So your exact tweet isn't the same. It's just the piece of content you're sharing is the same.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
And also it's not one after another.
No,
like you're going to tweet it 5 times, which is what we do, in fairness. We blog every day, and every blog post gets 5 tweets about it that goes out. But we spread them out on 5 consecutive days. So if you're watching our Twitter feed, you're not going to see the same post every hour for 5 hours. So yes, and we write it differently every time. So not the exact same tweet, but the same link to the blog post.
Yeah.
And you're saying you could do that with videos, tweet them multiple times?
Absolutely.
Blog posts, press releases?
Yeah.
Articles?
Yeah.
What else?
I mean, there's a lot of different types of content. Maybe you're sending people back to your website or certain pages on your website. There's a lot of different stuff. But the key is to not use the same exact thing and not do it too frequently, right? You don't want to repeat it so often that if someone looks at your Twitter feed, that it's just like literally the same content going out over and over and over again.
Right.
So you definitely want to do that. The other thing to look at is video. Let's say you've created a really nice video. Let's say it's a 2-minute long video. Okay?
Okay.
That's a great video. It's something you could post on YouTube, right? It's something you could post on Facebook, right? But unfortunately, that's not something that you could post on Instagram because it's 2 minutes long. Right? And Instagram has a video limit, unless you're on IGTV, right? A video limit of a minute, right?
But even if you're an IGTV, unless people are hunkering down to watch you, like people also have short attention spans.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely. But it's looking at, okay, if you've got this piece of content that's 2 minutes long, and you've posted it on YouTube and you've posted it on Facebook, like take that video, edit it down to a minute, put it into like a square format so it fits the format of Instagram better, and put it on Instagram as well, right? And trim that up so you've got a piece of content that works really well on that platform, right?
But I also think that's an argument for Facebook too. Let's say you share the 2-minute video, then couldn't you cut it into 30-second segments of the video? Maybe it depends on what your content is, but maybe the video goes into smaller pieces too, and you could share those individually as Facebook posts. Again, not one after another, but you spread it out over days or weeks, however long it's still relevant. You could share that. And then let's say you cut the 2-minute version for Facebook, but you really have 15 minutes of great video. Maybe you make a long form one that's going to go on your YouTube channel somewhere.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, there's so many different ways you can slice and dice content. Like, I think a lot of people get stuck because they go, oh, well, I wrote this blog post and I already shared it once, and I don't know what to do with it.
Now what?
Now what, right? Well, there's a lot of ways that you can still reuse and repurpose that content. So you just have to get creative with it.
Well, so the things we talk about up here, we've all written blog posts on, right? We've dived into these topics, we've written on them. And I like that we post the article itself, but then we take snippets out of our blog posts and we might turn them into graphics or tips that we can then get mileage out of that way. And then we combine blog posts and maybe write about them in our newsletter and they become articles there. So you can repurpose different types of content across your entire digital marketing platform. You just have to know sort of how to reuse things. Let's say recycle. Let's upcycle.
Upcycle.
You're going to upcycle them. Yeah.
Well, and one of the things that is really good that you can do with this content is not just use it on social media. Obviously, using it on social media is important. That's what we always talk about. But also, what content really resonates. This is a good way to see what really resonates with your audience.
Yes.
And maybe taking that content and using that as a sales tool. If you have salespeople that go out and talk to people, or maybe a more interactive piece if you have a retail location, something that's in the store itself. Different ways that you can use content that already resonates with your audience and putting it in different places so that you can take it beyond online, right? And take it and put it in other places. So it's a bit of, you can do some market research as well, just by looking at content you've posted and how it's done.
Yeah, I think seeing what your audience engages with, what they're interested in, gives you a lot of data about what you should be doing more of.
Yeah.
I mean, right? If you make a killer video and it gets tons of engagement, why stop there? Why not put a program into place where you're making monthly videos or weekly videos and write blog posts about the same topic, or send your newsletter about that, or make a sales sheet. I mean, I'm repeating what you said because it's smart.
Yeah.
But
and beyond that though, I mean, all of this is great and it's good to reuse and recycle stuff, right? Upcycle. But really, like, you should have a content calendar that you plan and track. So hopefully at no point are you actually just sitting down and trying to figure out what to post, but you actually have a plan and you have a content calendar and you've strategized about what you're going to post. I know we talk about this all the time. Having a plan is what's most important, but that actually allows you to take the time to look back, to see what's working, and then plan for the future so that you actually have stuff that is able to be posted.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, cool. Any final thoughts on that?
No final thoughts other than, here we are talking about stuff that we've written in blog posts, and it's very meta, right?
Yes, we are the kings and queen of upcycling.
Yes.
But good content's good content.
Absolutely.
Right? And good information is good information for your audience, so why not get as much mileage out of it as possible?
I agree.
Cool.
You're welcome.
Yeah. And thank you for tuning in. We'll be back here every Tuesday at 12:30, from 12:30 to 1, where we'll do Social Media Help Desk. If you need more tips, advice, social media news in the meantime, there are a few places you should look. First is our blog at KWSMdigital.com. We blog about 8 times a week, so there's lots of articles there that you can look at. You can also go to our YouTube channel. On our YouTube channel, which is KWSM Team, we have all the past episodes of this show, so you can keep up with all your favorites. And then we also have a segment called Tip of the Day, which has hundreds of videos in it that are all our best tips and tricks. And then if you have questions you want us to answer or topics you want us to talk about, we are game. Everything doesn't have to be upcycled. Send us new stuff.
No.
So you can always email us at tips@kwsmdigital.com, and we will answer your questions next Tuesday when we come on. In the meantime, thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.